Today AMD is releasing their new graphic cards that should be somewhere between 1960 XT and 1970 XT as well. So we're having 1970 GRE, and today we're going to talk about Sapphire Radeon RX 1970 GRE. This is Pulse. We have Nitro Plus and we have Pure as well, and we're gonna go a bit deeper into details and go with comparison, of course, with some synthetic benchmarks. Then we have some older games in terms of raw power and FSR. So let's start with general specifications. We have 4 nanometers process, second generation AI accelerators, and third generation ray tracing accelerators. We have 48 compute units, third generation RT plus second generation AI accelerators. We have AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution 4 with AI upscaling. DisplayPort 2.1a, Fidelity FX technology support, AMD FreeSync technology, 12 gigs of GDDR6 on 192-bit memory bus. And then we go specifically with the Pulse model. We have frame defense technology, fuse protection system, high compatibility with micro ATX and ITX boards in terms of compatibility of smaller chassis, because this GPU is quite smaller. And then we have classic black and red design. We have 3x cooling with 2 ball bearing fans, optimized composite heat pipe, and new AeroCurve fan blade with full metal backplate. It has Honeywell PTM 7950 TIM applied. When we go with the PCB design, we have GFX 8-phase plus SoC 3-phase and MVDD 2-phase plus VDDCI 1-phase, which comes up with total 14-phase digital power design. We're having 2 display ports and 2 HDMIs, comparing to the other cards that have 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. The display port is 2.1a, where HDMI is 2.1b. It has power input fuse and 8-layer high TG PCB. For more details, we have 3072 stream processors, 48 compute units, 48 rate accelerators, 96 AI accelerators, 48 megabytes AMD Infinity cache. Boost clock is up to 2920 megahertz. Game clock is 2340 megahertz. Memory, as already stated, 12 gigs of GDDR6, memory speed is 18 gigabits per second, memory interface 192-bit. Form factor is 2.5 slot ATX with dimensions of 280 x 133 x 51.5. For the power connectors, it uses 2 PCIe 8-pin headers with typical board power at 240 watts. Maximum display output is 4, of course, because we have 4 connections. And maximum resolution for the HDMI is 7680 x 4320, and the same thing goes for the display port. Now, as already stated before, comes with the regular visual aspect with 2 fans with the Pulse logo in the middle. We have black and red going throughout. You have these 2 8-pin PCI connectors right here. They're a little bit placed inside because the PCB is much smaller than regular. So in this sense, the connectors kind of hide here, but we don't have to worry about burning or anything because 8-pin PCI are really durable. Now, I don't have to go too much into this because the benchmarks will say majority of the stuff, so let's deep dive into that. Now, going with benchmarks, I use 9950X3D just to give the GPU a maximum headroom. We're going with Kingston Fury Renegade RGB DDR5 2x16 at 6400 MHz. Now, in 3D Mark, we're having time SPI at 20,586 with the GPU at 21,906. Time SPI Extreme is 10,594 with GPU 10,371. Firestrike is GPU 51,877. Firestrike Extreme GPU is 25,814. And basically for the Firestrike Ultra, GPU is 13,137 with the FPS in still Nobel 53.50. Average thermals in this scenario was 57, and altogether when we take consideration gaming and the synthetic benchmarks, the total consumption of the GPU was from 102 watts to 133 watts. That's quite solid for this GPU. The other RX 9070 GRE is from 103 watts to 134 watts. Now when we move forward, I also added the 5070 Ti since I never actually had a complete comparison, and we're going to compare it with this. In general, when you take a look, I have Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, For Honor, PUBG, Shadow of Tomb Raider, Hogwarts Legacy, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Remastered, The Witcher 3 Next Generation, Cyberpunk 2077, Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, and Starfield. You're gonna see the numbers, but what I can conclude here is that 9070 GRE without FSR, just pure raw power, has 50% less FPS than the 5070 Ti. And then when we go into FSR and DLSS, we get, well, the same thing, almost the same thing. Because, for instance, in Hogwarts Legacy, if we go with raw power, the 5070 Ti and, of course, the 9070 GRE kind of go quite close with 100 and 111 FPS. Then we go with average on Miles Morales, 115 with DLSS, and the FSR is 89. Next to that, we have Spider-Man Remastered, 233 on 5070 Ti, while the 9070 is 103. Then we move forward with Witcher 3, which is basically quite exhausting game for the GPU. 95 FPS on average for 5070 Ti, while the 9070 GRE Pulse is 39. Moving forward, Cyberpunk, where you could actually get more information about DLSS and FSR, we're having average on the raw power, 59.53 on 5070 Ti, while the 9070 GRE has 13.81. The other 9070 GRE has 19.24, so there's a bit of a difference with the overclocking from factory. Then we go with Cyberpunk. Again, average with DLSS on 5070 Ti is 175.25, while with FSR on 9070 GRE is 138.89. I'm gonna skip Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. God of War, 92 compared to 69 in raw performance, and then we go with DLSS, which is 192, and FSR for 9070 GRE is 119. The other one in this scenario, 9070 GRE, had 107, so that's 12 FPS less. Moving forward with Spider-Man 2, 77 for 5070 with no DLSS turned on, and 63 for the 9070 GRE, 62 for the other one. And DLSS turned on, 194 compared to 123. And finally, Starfield, we get 64 compared to 47, 5070 Ti compared to 9070 GRE, and DLSS on and FSR on, 107 and 84 altogether. When you take a look with thermals and all the other stuff, we have average out of these 13 games for the Sapphire RX 9070 GRE Pulse, 58 degrees, but the fans do tend to get a bit louder. The Nitro Plus and Pure should be better in thermal dissipation and thermal performance in that sense, but what I can say is that this GPU is 50% weaker than 5070 Ti. Sadly, I didn't have the time to check out the 5070 and how that performs compared to 9070 GRE in sense, because Computex is soon, so that kind of got in the way. But regardless of that, 5070 Ti current price is around 1,000 to 1,200 euros. So in that sense, if you take all the benchmarks into consideration, I would expect this to be 50%. Well, ideal would be 300 or to 400 euros, but most likely when it drops, and this is only my guessing, when it drops into the stores, it's going to be around 500 euros most likely. But this is just a wild guess, don't get me wrong. So if you're going with raw performance as any of the GPUs, you're going to see much lower FPS. In general, I said that in the RTX videos for DLSS, and going to say that I said that for 9070 XT as well. So 9070 GRE as well. If you don't mind AI upscaling, you're gonna get quite nice performance. But then again, it all depends on the processor. I gave this GPU much headroom with 9950 X3D, and yeah, just wanted to see what's the maximum potential of this GPU. How will it perform? So guys, yeah, let's wait about the prices, and then we'll see how this GPU will scale up. The thermals are quite solid, but the fans do create a bit louder noise than usual on the GPU, so that's one thing. 12 gigs, at least it's not 8, so that's good. And we'll see later on how it stacks up on the market. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. This was Sapphire Radeon RX 9070 GRE Pulse. You'll also have Pure and Nitro Plus. The links are in the description if you want to check out about Radeon technologies, and that'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.